Welcome back to Crazy Gamers Games in part 17 of my journey to build an Adeptus Mechanicus army. In the last video we left off with my Helvrin and a bunch of magnetized pieces, and I'd like to show him the rest of the way done. Arms magnetized in case they release more weapons, the body magnetized, and his top pieces are magnetized. I just did not grab them off the other table. So it's just like with the Warglaive. There's a 2mm by 3mm magnet in there. This is an 8mm magnet in the torso, and then in the hip joints there's a 5mm magnet, and then in the arms is a 5mm by 2mm, and the upper arm right there is a 3 by 3mm. I try to use the best magnet possible, that's why there's all different sizes. But that is my magnetized Helvrin. He is all set there. I like to give a thank you to all my new subscribers and those who have commented and are supporting my page. I greatly appreciate it. Next up, we're going to look at one of my Ranger Alphas that are magnetized. In the arm is a 2 by 1mm magnet, and in the torso is a 2 by 2mm magnet. And then both sides are magnetized. And then there is a 3 by 2 in the backpack and a 3 by 3 magnet in his back. I was using 2mm magnets for that, but the backpacks were spinning this way. The backpacks stay on better. So that's him. And then my Ranger with an Auspex, all magnetized up in case I don't want an Auspex in the army. So same principle, same magnets used in the arms, body, and backpack on that one. So that's 2 more units. I have another Ranger that I'm working on now. As I showed before, this is my master model. So when I'm ready to magnetize more pieces, I will just take one of these. Say I need to magnetize the arms, I will take a 1mm magnet and put it on each arm like so. See, there's a 2 by 1mm magnet, and then I take a arm that I have drilled out 2 by 1mm. Then I would add a little bit of glue to this. Of course, my glue is not going to want to. We'll switch to a different glue. Let's try this one. And just a little dab in there. And then what I like to do is take a little wooden stick and swirl the glue around like that. And then I will press the magnet in his arm, slide it off. Then I use a piece of Teflon to push the magnet in flush like that. The magnet is now in there flush. And then I take a Q-tip with a couple drops of zip kicker on it, just some super glue accelerant, and I rub it across the top of the magnet. And now that magnet is set in there, I still give it about a minute to dry. I just clip it to one of my little clips that's sitting in the back of my workstation. And then that's basically how I magnetize that arm. Now, the 2mm by 2mm See if I can even get this to show up because it's so small. Right there, that's the one that goes in the bodies. Now when I'm ready to put a magnet in the body, I take out one of my master arms, which is red, so it stands out, and then I just stick. And now this is ready for his left arm. So after I drill the hole in the body, I will super glue in there. Sometimes some green stuff depending on how it drills out. And I would just push the magnet in and slide off. And then I have the body magnetized. And I do the same thing with a master backpack that is magnetized. Now with that brief overview of how I magnetize things, I want to talk to you about the next unit I'm building for the Army, because I am going to attempt to magnetize them, and I feel that these are going to be a challenge. It is the Sicarans, Adeptus Mechanicus Sicarans. Now these can either be built as infiltrators or rust stalkers. I have a couple ideas on how I want to do this based on what I've seen other people build. But let me go through the box first, and then I'll talk to you about my ideas for these units. So these sprues are packed with pieces. There's backpacks, power swords, body pieces, transonic razors, little claw hands. Now, I don't know if you can see this, but let's look at this taser go zoom in here. Right there. Oh, let's back it up a little bit. Sorry about that. Okay, if you look here at part number 82, and you look at this little part right there in his hand, if I take one of my 2mm magnets and I try to put it, line it up with that hand right there. I have to keep my hand behind it. You try to line that up like that, the magnet's a little too big. So what I have done is I have scoured the internet, and I have found a company that sells even smaller magnets than 2mm. These right here, you can see this is 100 magnets. These are 1/2 millimeter by 1/2 millimeter, and they are very hard to work with. They are N52 magnets, so they'll give me the power, because I believe I can put a 2mm in 1/2, and then in this little half, like right there, an N52 will fit in there, no problem. That will fit, no problem, right there. And I say 1/2 millimeter, they're a little bigger than 1/2 millimeter, but I believe they will have enough power to hold the arm on, so I can switch between, if I just do infiltrators, the power swords, taser goads, stubbers, and the Fichette blasters. Is if you look here on the heavy stubber, that I can put a 2mm by 1mm magnet into. Zoom out a little. Oh, that's better. This part right here in this hand, that can take a 2mm by 1mm magnet in that hand, but it's this one unit. It's the hand with the claw in it. right there that I need the smaller magnet for. And that's the magnet I'm looking for right there. That's going to fit in that claw and hold the either the taser goad or the power sword. So that's these guys. I'm building them as infiltrators. I have electro priests for my army that I'm going to use for close combat. So I have, I believe, 5 boxes of Sakarans. So I'm going to build this first box as infiltrators, that the weapons are interchangeable. I'll mostly use the taser goads and flechette blasters. But what else in the box? Another decal transfer sheet. I have a lot of these now. And then you see the infiltrators and the rust stalkers. And basically, that's a rust stalker build. And it looks like first couple steps are unique for either, are used for both. That's what it looks like. And then at step 5 starts the infiltrators. You got your princeps, and then infiltrator 1, and then right here is where I would start the magnets in here, like so. But I do want to see what the rust stalkers look like with their weapons. See, here's the rust stalkers. They have more of a claw hand. That's the claw. They can have double razors. So, I mean, I think the rust stalkers would be cool to build, but I don't feel I'll have a lot of use for rust stalkers. I do want to see if it's possible to just magnetize the heads and the arms and then be able to fully switch between rust stalkers and infiltrators. I may look into trying to do that because it doesn't look to be too much of a difference. I'll have to look into it. I'll read the book more and look into it. It looks like it comes with 40 mil bases. Let's just check that. Yep, 40 mil bases. I will be basing these on the plastic cast decorative 40 mil resin bases from the Sector Imperialis collection from Games Workshop. So let's take a look at the infiltrators. Alright, the infiltrators. The Sakaran infiltrators, they have a movement of 8, a weapon skill of 3+, a ballistic skill of 3+, strength 4, toughness 3, 2 wounds, 2 attacks, leadership 6, and a 4+ save. The princeps is the same, but it gets 3 attacks. It has leadership 7. The unit contains 1 infiltrator princeps and 4 Sakaran rust stalkers. You can have additional 5 for a unit of 10, and each is armed with a sub-carbine or power sword. And they can replace their sub-carbine and power sword with a flechette blaster and taser goad. Let's talk about the flechette blaster. 12-inch range, pistol 5, strength 3, 1 damage. You have 10 of these guys, you drop them in the back of the field, 50 shots. You're going to hit something. The sub-carbine has a little more range, 18. Its pistol 3 has strength 4 and 1 damage. I could see how that would be nice. That's why I want to magnetize in case I want to switch. And then the power sword is user strength of strength 4, -3 to the AP and 1 damage. See, I like that too. But the taser goad is strength +2, so it's strength 6 and 1 damage. And for each roll of a 6, it causes 3 hits rather than 1. I'm a big fan of that too. So I'm torn on how I wanna build these guys. So that's why I'm gonna do the magnets on it, because I think that's gonna be what's gonna make me happy with being able to switch. And they have Canticles of the Omnissiah. They have Bionics. They have a +6 invulnerable save, and they're infiltrators. During deployment, you can set this unit up in concealment instead of placing it on the battlefield. At the end of any of your movement phases, this unit can reveal its location. Set it up anywhere on the battlefield that is more than 9 inches from an enemy model. And then it has Neurostatic Aura. Enemy units within 3 of any Sicarian infiltrator must subtract 1 from their leadership. And they have the keywords Imperium, Adeptus Mechanicus, Scutari, and Forge World. And they are infantry and Scutaran infiltrators. Now, I have a question about the infiltrators keyword. I know in an FAQ that you couldn't deep strike on turn 1. You had to wait till turn 2, and by turn 3, if you didn't do it, what I want to know is, are the infiltrators affected by that? Do they have to wait to turn 2 before they can come into play? So if anybody knows that, if they can leave it in the comments below. So I have no idea how that works. I know the FAQ talked about the deep striking. So I would like to know if they can still be placed in turn 1, or do I have to wait to turn 2? So this is my project for the next couple days, is getting these 5 infiltrators, possibly infiltrator rust stalkers if possible, built. And I hope everybody had a happy new year. And this is my challenge for 2019. I have added up the points of the entire army of what people have sent me, and it is about a little over 8,500 points. That does include a good group of Imperial Knights. You have seen the Armigers and Helverins. Either after these Rust Stalkers or something else, I will be putting together one of the Perceptor Knights that buff the Helverins. So you'll see one of the knights, and I also have a couple other knights I'll reveal later in a later episode, which they will be magnetized for, just so one can be any of the knights that I feel I need at the time. Well, for Crazy Gamer Games, I'm the Crazy Gamer. You guys have a great day. Thank you.